Hey guys, welcome back to Fix It Friday, the weekly YouTube series where we talk about video game console mods, repairs, and restorations. And for this week, what I'd like to do is revisit some of the mods that I've done in the past, namely the Game Boy IPS screen replacement mod and the Game Boy Pocket TFT screen replacement mod. So, since I made my last videos, there were a few new things that I've learned, and so I wanted to address those things so that these mods can be even better than they were originally. So specifically, in the Game Boy IPS mod that I did recently, what I learned is that there's actually a bug in the first revision of these mod kits. So you can see here I have a Game Boy ROM which shows the four colors. What it should look like is going from light to dark, but as you can see here, it goes from light, darker, a little less dark, and darkest. So it turns out that the manufacturer actually flipped these two colors in the color palette, and so what we're going to do is a quick mod to fix this, and it's pretty straightforward. Thankfully, the newer revisions of this kit have this problem addressed, so it's only for people who bought the very first round, like myself. Now, going back to the Game Boy Pocket, there are two things that I wanted to address. One is that when you power this thing off, you'll notice there's a little bit of a lag before the screen actually quite a bit of lag before the screen powers off. So there we go, now it's off. So this can be easily addressed with a slight change to the wiring, which I'm going to show you guys. And the other thing I want to talk about is the fact that there is a part of the kit that lets you touch the screen or touch a part of the Game Boy, and it allows you to change brightness. And this was something I was not aware of when I installed this kit, so I'm going to go back and install that properly. Okay, so what I've done already, just in the interest of time, is disassemble the Game Boy Pocket, and I took the screen completely off and desoldered everything. And the first thing I'm going to show you is this second little ribbon here. And I really didn't understand what this thing was for when I was installing the screen initially. And subsequently what I figured out is that it's a touch sensor. So when you tuck this thing in underneath the power switch, like right here, what ends up happening is that if you push or tap on the power switch, you'll make some pressure, and what that's going to do is it's going to make the brightness on the Game Boy Pocket change in response to that. So all you really have to do is apparently just tuck that in. So I'm going to fiddle about with that really quick and get it tucked in and see if I can get it to stay in place. And once that's all set, we'll give it a test out later on once everything's assembled. Okay, so we're going to do the final adjustment here to make this Game Boy Pocket work even better than it was before. So you can see I've now tucked in the little touch sensor over here, and what I do is I took a little bit of double-sided tape and I put it on one end and then just stuck it on the other. I'm not sure if that's required or not, but I decided to do that anyway, just because this way I know it's definitely going to stay in place. I've resoldered the ground over here to the ceramic capacitor because we're not going to change that whatsoever. What we're going to do is we're going to change where we're getting power from. So instead of having it on this pin here, we're going to move over to this one pin here on the right. And what that will do is when we shut down the Game Boy Pocket, we won't have that persistent screen illumination that we're getting right now. So it'll turn off as soon as the system turns off. So all I'm going to do is just add a little bit of solder here to that pin. And we're going to go ahead and take this cable. It should still fit. Yeah, it does. There we go. Hold on. Sorry for the camera shake. The wires are a bit tangled. but yeah, you can see what I've done now. I've moved the power over one to the next pin, and I'm going to reassemble everything, and we're going to test out both of these changes. Alright, so we're back. I've reassembled everything, so let's take a look and see if these two mods worked. Okay, so screen looks good. Everything's behaving normally. Now, if we power off, does it turn off immediately? Yes, it does. That's great. Just like the Game Boy Pocket, it turns off immediately. That's what I wanted, so that it's not draining battery and it's behaving kind of more like what I would expect. Alright, so let's see if we can get that battery thing going. I'm sorry, that brightness thing. Let's see if that works. So, well, that doesn't seem to be doing anything, so... Oh, wait. Oh, hang on. It does. Look at that. Okay, you have to kind of squeeze. It's definitely not intuitive, really. And it's not something I'm probably ever going to use, but it does seem to work. Alright, so it looks like both of these mods are successful, and a good follow-up if you use my guide to install the replacement screen on your Game Boy Pocket. Alright, so let's move on to the original Game Boy. Okay, so in the interest of time, what I've done is just disassembled the Game Boy, and basically what we're going to be doing in order to correct this mistake with the original IPS kit is we're going to take pins 6 and 7 and we're going to lift them up off the board, and we're basically going to just cross their intended connections. And that undoes the mistake in the color palette that you get with the mod kit. So what I'm going to do is just cut back once everything is zoomed in, and I'm going to start lifting these 2 pins. Okay, so both of the 2 pins are successfully lifted. So now what we're going to do is we're going to swap where they're supposed to go. So normally this pin here goes to this pad, and this guy goes over here to this pad. So all we really need to do is just cross them over to each other. So this one now is going to go here, and this guy is going to go all the way over here. And so I just pre-tinned some wires. So I'm going to start by just soldering them into place on the pads. This is kind of fine work, so, you know, thankfully if you bought a version 2 of the kit, you're not going to have to do this, and, you know, you can kind of get away with living with it the way that it is, but for me personally, I kind of want things to be right, so yeah, so I made sure that that I would do it like this. Actually, I think this one is a little longer cable, so I'm going to connect it here instead. That. And now we're gonna just put that down for a moment, and we're gonna bring it over to here. So doing so is gonna block the second line. So first I think I'm gonna just get these 2 lines connected to the pads, these 2 wires, and then I'll come back and I'll bring them to their correct locations. Okay. Okay, so when I connected up that second wire, I didn't realize that I had moved the camera out of focus, but I just wanted to show you the end result. So as you can see, the lines are crossed. So this guy now is going here, and this guy now is going here. I used the same principles connecting the other wire, but I just wanted to make sure you guys could see the final result. Okay, so we are back, and it looks like the modification was a success. So now you see that the colors are moving in the correct orientation. So they're going from light to a little darker to a little darker to totally black. And that's the way it's supposed to be. And you'll see that on all of the color palettes as well, at least the ones that are more normal, like this green one here, the red, or this like yellowish, which I feel like this is really the best color palette for the original Game Boy. So yeah, so this modification was a success. Alright guys, so if you like this video, then please feel free to give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Game Boy mods and other kinds of mods, repairs, restorations. Alright, so thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!